Truth could have landed anywhere, but he committed all his forces here, East Africa, the ruins of New Mombasa. Then they started digging.
Who will use this portal? Who will live to return here? And what will they think of this machine that I've buried? Those I have fought for so long. Those who, it is clear to me now, ultimately will and must inherit the mantle. I can only hope that they will survive, that they will find this portal and use it to travel to the Ark, in order that they might discover their rightful place in this galaxy and the great responsibility they have finally inherited. They are the last of my children. They must reclaim their birthright.
Slipspace portals are a method of slipstream space transit developed by the Foreigners, the most impressive and powerful of which being the keyship-activated Ark Portals that bridge the immense distance between a planet or location in the galaxy and the Ark's position 2 to the 18th light-years from galactic centre, or in long form, 262,144 light-years, or approximately 2.5 times the diameter of the Milky Way galaxy. Given this immense distance, the fact that these portals' travel time is nominally around 3 weeks, but can be much faster if enough energy is utilised, this gives the slowest known velocity of 12,483 light-years per day. For those of you who want your brain to turn to mush and trickle out of your ear, that's 520 light-years per hour. And for those of you who want your brain to boil inside your skull, that's 4,888 trillion kilometers per hour. The Foreigners had a network of portals that allowed fast passage throughout their ecumene. Some systems, including that of the capital, had portal installations that connected to multiple worlds. The librarian used an array of portals to travel to the worlds where she collected various species of the galaxy for indexing at the Ark. The same network was used to transport the Halo Rings. The portals in this network could only be activated by a special type of vessel known as a keyship, most of which were eventually destroyed by the librarian in order to prevent the flood from reaching the Ark. Currently, there are only 2 known portals on human-controlled worlds. One on Earth, which was once buried deep under East Africa, and the other buried deep below Castle Base on Reach. The amount of energy required to open a slipspace translocation portal across this vast distance is utterly insurmountable, and only achievable via the Foreigners' use of vacuum energy. Slipspace is a tangle of intertwined non-spatial dimensions, comparably similar to a wadded up piece of paper, rather like the classic flat sheet used to represent gravity, and crumpling it up into a ball, thereby creating extra dimensions and shorter spaces between points. Our plane of existence is thought to have 4 dimensions: up, down, front, back, side to side, and time. But slipspace is an 11-dimensional space-time. Slipspace is intertwined with the physical universe to the extent that the phenomena in one realm can affect the other. And with sufficiently sophisticated equipment, transitions between the 2 forms of space-time are possible. Slipspace is not the only such alternate realm. Others include denial of locale, the natal void, shun space, trick geodetics, and the photon-only realm known as the glow, all of which were discovered and studied by the Foreigners. Described as non-Euclidean and non-Einsteinian, the slipstream possesses markedly different laws of physics than normal space. Due to its different laws of physics, times, masses, positions, or velocities in slipspace are impossible to accurately measure based on the standards of normal space. Although they are often used in colloquial contexts, the conventional notions of acceleration, velocity, distance, and time are technically meaningless within slipspace. Even the name slipspace is technically a misnomer because the subdomain is non-spatial. Ordinary matter cannot exist in the raw slipstream without being torn apart. Ships travelling in slipspace are shielded by carefully tuned quantum fields, which wrap them in an envelope of normal space. This is also true of the Ark portals, where the pylons that rise from the construct provide a stabilizing quantum field to isolate the raw portal from the surrounding environment. This got me thinking. What would happen if this stabilizing quantum field around the Ark portal failed, either by accident or intentionally tampered with by a hostile intelligence, for example, the Created? In short, it would become a weapon of mass destruction. But let's explore exactly how. The portal would activate, generating what is effectively a microscopic black hole, and then expanding it using manipulating energy fields to the massive size we have observed it to be. However, with the quantum stabilizing field turned off, the portal itself would be directly exposed to the atmosphere of Earth. Initially, there would be a massive sonic boom as the portal expanded, forcing the atmosphere around it outwards in all directions faster than the speed of sound. This is not where it would end. The sonic boom would then reverse and turn into a perpetual sonic boom, or more of a sonic rumble, as the atmosphere began entering the portal at ever-increasing velocities, rushing towards the black hole at supersonic speeds, increasing to hypersonic and beyond the closer it drew to the event horizon of the portal. The rumble you would hear would be as a consequence of the shockwave of air accelerating at supersonic speeds a good distance from the portal's quote-unquote surface. Closer into the portal, once the velocity of moving air reaches hypersonic speeds, the shockwave would no longer be able to outrun the velocity it is being pulled towards the portal. This is what is called an acoustic black hole, or a dumb hole, which is a phenomena in which sound is unable to escape from a fluid that is flowing more quickly than the local speed of sound. So you wouldn't actually be able to hear the portal itself, or even the air near to it. You'd be deafened by the perpetual shockwave of air accelerating towards it. This, in turn, would begin to create immense levels of friction, as the atmosphere is compressed as it is drawn towards the portal, forcing the particles of air to collide more energetically with each other. This friction would get hotter and hotter, until the very air near the portal began discharging in a frenzied electrical storm. The temperature would continue to rise, igniting the very air travelling towards the portal. At this stage, where the air is rushing in at an immensely high density and temperature, it will spontaneously become a highly energetic plasma, and will begin emitting gamma rays, X-rays, and other radiation. This will begin to scorch and destroy any living organisms and any human constructs within hundreds of miles of the portal. Lethal doses of ionizing radiation would be ejected in all directions, with the only relative safety being if you are beyond the visual range of the portal, with the curvature of Earth itself standing between you and the portal. If anyone within the portal structure itself is alive at this point, possibly being shielded from the chaos above by the Forerunner materials above them, there is a chance they could attempt to shut down the portal from within. The Ark Portal has dozens of research sites built in and around the portal, and it is already known that the portal can be activated internally, as it was by a Huragok named Drifts randomly. It is surmised the same task could be accomplished again. Failing this, however, the portal would continue wreaking havoc with our planet's atmosphere as the UNSC and the UEG declare a state of emergency and explore the options available to try to stop what is happening. Immense aurora would sweep outwards from the portal in the upper atmosphere for thousands of kilometers as the emitted radiation supercharges particles high in the atmosphere. Immense fires would travel outward across the African savanna in all directions as the heat and radiation flash dries any vegetation and ignites what is left. Massive electrical storms would be generated as a consequence of the smoke and particulates rising into the atmosphere, as well as the radiation being emitted. These storms would arc to the Earth in thunderbolts so large and so powerful they could black out entire cities permanently, while simultaneously releasing enough energy in a single bolt to power those same cities for decades. Although the Earth is comparatively quite massive in comparison to the size of the portal, with all life within hundreds of kilometers of the portal being completely destroyed and an inability to get into the portal structure to attempt to shut down the portal, the combined concerns of the heat, radiation, fires, and the constant depletion of our atmosphere would drive humanity to take drastic action to stop it. The UNSC could attempt to strike the portal with nuclear weapons. However, the yield of UNSC nuclear weapons could potentially irradiate the entirety of East Africa for 50,000 years or more. Their only option left would be to reorientate the orbital defense platforms and fire the supermac cannons at the portal itself. As far as we are aware, the ODPs are not designed to do this, so it is likely that doing so would result in the respective ODPs firing their supermax only once with the stored energy from the wireless fusion generators planetside, while simultaneously ejecting the ODPs from their geostationary orbit out into space, sacrificing anyone aboard the ODPs responsible for their operation. The round from the ODPs would enter the atmosphere at relativistic speeds and strike the Ark Portal. For a brief moment, the entire area would be illuminated in a blinding light. As the light subsides, an immense crater would be revealed. The portal would be gone, along with most human settlements on the east coast, and a large portion of the African savanna. Over the coming years, the ocean would flow into the crater, and over the coming decades, life would gradually return to the African savanna, with the only sign of this horrific event being the ocean-filled crater now permanently scarring the continent of Africa. Thanks for watching. Stick your comments down below. I look forward to what you have to say. This was actually directly inspired by a question I was asked on my Discord server, so I extrapolated a little bit and thought you guys might be interested to hear it. I want to give a quick shout out to my patrons and YouTube members, Neek the Silent Cartographer, Kyle Stevens and Siphonic Storm, my Tier 0 Transcentients, Brian, Sebastian, Red Sea Darian, Stalk of the Realms, Falcon X003, Alvin, Mr. Fell, Flaming Halo, Starlight, Legions Lost, Josh, the TG7, Cat Herder Cam, Schneidish, Leon011, Ignizzle, and Chris Spartan 118, the Holders of the Mantle, my Glorious Reclaimers, my Loyal Metarchs, and all the other patrons and members that have jumped aboard to support the channel. Much love to you guys, thanks so much for your support. It's keeping things happening and helping the development of the channel and future awesomeness in a big, big way. If you like Halo lore discussed to insane levels of detail, hit that subscribe button and the little bell icon so you're told the second a new video hits the shelves. Be sure to support us on all major social media channels, including Discord, and if you really love the channel, consider heading over to Patreon and supporting the channel over there, or jumping on as a channel member. It would mean the world to me and would free up more of my time for me to put into this content and other Halo-related goodness. Take it easy, everyone, and find peace in the domain.